Jesus said that he came to seek and save that which was lost. That's talking about him knowing his purpose, living on purpose for his purpose. He lived life on purpose. He did his ministry on purpose. It wasn't just kind of like, I'm in ministry, let's see what happens. And Jesus was kind of like went around like, let's see what happens. He lived life on purpose for his purpose. We should do the same. Okay? And so even with groups, I believe that, as we reach out, we should be purposeful in our reaching out. As we draw people in, we should be purposeful in drawing them in. We should be purposeful in discipling them and establishing them. Purposeful in gathering together and in being strict, and purposeful in our strategy with regards to how we gather, how we reach out, how we disciple, etc. Okay? And so that's why I want to do this session with you quickly on how do groups relate to Grace Life Central. Now, this may not apply to you because you might not be part of Grace Life, but as you listen to it, I believe that you'll get something out of it. Okay? I believe you'll get something out of it. It will inspire you with regards to what you're doing. I believe that. So don't just skip this because you're not Grace Life. You'll learn something from it, even though I'm aiming this towards us as Grace Life. So Grace Life is really a church planting, disciple making ministry. We've got different campuses, and more recently we've started having regions. So we've got campuses which started off as groups, which then gathered, and now we have a campus, a church there, which has groups. So that's one of the ways in which we have we express ourselves in different areas. And then we've got regions like in Gauteng, in South Africa, where we don't have a campus as such, but we have a number of small groups which relate to each other and gather together once a month. But they meet on a Sunday in homes, and we're seeking to multiply those groups so that there would be eventually in specific areas gatherings of those groups in each area, and many multiple groups in those areas too. So that there would be small groups and one larger group per area. So that's just a quick overview. Now, in an area where we have an existing campus, how the small groups and how it works in that. So, for example, Stellenbosch, or for example, Tygerberg, Piketberg, wherever. If you are part of a current campus, a church which meets together, which has a campus pastor, then you are free to go and start discovery groups. You are free to go and make disciples and start up groups and all of that. I would just say, let your campus pastor know what you're doing. Not for control, but so that he or she can care for you. So that they can look after you. So that they can lead and guide you, know what's happening, to include you. Because one of the things is if you're running a group, we want to invest into you by inviting you to be part of a leadership group. Okay? And in order to help look after the people in your group, we also want to be connected to you. Okay? For regular connection, checking up on how things going. Is everyone in your group fine? Do we need to pray for anyone? Does anyone need practical help or care? And all of that. That's how we look after people within in our ministry or our churches. Okay, so if you're currently in a campus, part of a campus, you are free to just go and disciple people, reach out to people, form a Bible study, a discovery group. And as soon as you do that, I would say let your campus pastor know so they can invite you to a group leaders meeting where they can invest into you so that you can invest into others. Okay? And then also with that group, don't seek to have a holy huddle forever, but seek to mature that group to the place where it will multiply. And then as that multiplies, you'll have relationship with those leaders, but then you can also invite those leaders of the groups that you've sent out to form part of the life group leaders or the group's leaders gathering. Okay? So that's if you're part of a campus. If you're part of a region such as Gauteng, okay? If you're in a current group in Gauteng, then you would... you are part of building that group, but I want to encourage you to allow yourself to mature to the place where you can also start a group. where have your hit list, reach out to people, and let's see the groups that are there multiply. Okay, and what happens there is we've got a region overseer who is currently Christian Bernardi, and then you would basically he meets with the group leaders on a Wednesday evening and invests into them, and the group leaders meet with their groups on Sundays. And so you can see that we make sure everyone is connected and everyone is cared for. Okay, because we want to do this together. We also have, as Grace Life, a common vision and a common mission, and together we want to accomplish that. It's once again not control. It brings a greater fruitfulness if we're in this together. Okay, and then once a month in Gauteng we have a gathering where we pick a venue and all the groups come together for a service where we have someone minister, we have some worship together, we pray together, we fellowship together, we even after the service eat together, and that is an important part for us. But we have a great time together. And as the vision is that as groups multiply, like let's say in Centurion, we have 3 groups. Those 3 groups will start to have their own gathering in Centurion. Okay, they will still meet up as individual groups, but then instead of gathering as Gauteng, they will gather as Centurion. As Johannesburg starts to have more groups, they will meet up as Johannesburg. As Pretoria starts to meet to multiply, they will start to meet up as Pretoria. And then the region will be split into smaller regions. And the multiplication will increase as more disciples are made. So that's if you're part of a campus or part of a region. But the point is, what I'm trying to show you overall is that the whole point of our groups and the way we structure things and the way we do things as Grace Life is that we are relational. Everything functions in relationship, okay? And with our relationship and all that, we're organized. And we're organized, we want to stay connected to every group within Grace Life, to every leader. We want to make sure that the regional leader or the campus pastor is connected to every group leader and regularly ministering to those group leaders so that everyone's connected. We need to be organized to ensure that everybody is shepherded, everyone is cared for, everyone is well fed, everyone is led and guided in the mission, and everyone is protected. Okay, we don't just want isolation. What I've seen with a lot of home churches, and this is a generalization, but with some home churches or home gatherings, is they become inward focused, self-absorbed, and they're not living for a bigger mission. They're not even just trying to reach out, make disciples, and grow because they're happy with their holy huddle. Our groups, because they are part of a bigger family, we are constantly stirring them up to see the bigger vision, the bigger picture, and we're constantly wanting to encourage them to multiply at the right time. Part of being bigger, part of the bigger vision and mission is that if there's a need in Albania, we tell everyone, the groups and everyone has an opportunity to sow towards that. If there's a mission trip going to Zimbabwe or to Albania or wherever, we would advertise it at all of our campuses and in all our regions and all our groups to make sure everyone has the opportunity to be part of that mission trip. When we have training, everyone's notified and everyone is invited to be part of the training and the equipping. When we have a conference, everyone's part of that and enabled to be part of that. When, whatever's happening, we make sure everyone's aware of it so that they can be part of it. Okay? And then at the same time, when there's a need in one of the groups in one of the areas, we make sure that through the channels, through the leadership, the life group leader would notify the regional leader, and if they can't deal with it, the regional leader would let us know it's central, and together we would see how can we care for this person, whether it's a financial need, whether it's a practical need, whether they're needing discipleship or some kind of counseling, or if someone needs to get married, if someone needs to be buried, or whatever the case is. We'll deal with that all through our organized relationship, our structure of relating to one another. And so we're encouraging people that you're part of a bigger vision. You're giving into a vision. You're helping to plant new groups in different areas. One of the things that I'm envisioning is that, when we're reaching out into a new area, we would be able to notify all of our groups and say, hey, if anyone feels called to this area, we're planning to send in a team to establish groups and reach out in that area to start a new movement in that area of disciple makers. To have multiple groups which then eventually gather together in the form of a church in the traditional sense. And so that's how we do things. That's why we relate to one another. That's how we relate to one another. There's a lot more that we could say about that. But in essence, we have a central office, which is based in Stellenbosch. And that central office facilitates the connection, the communication, the relationships. And they feed out information to the different groups, regions, and campuses, and which I lead and oversee and invest into as the apostolic leader. And I don't say apostolic leader as some head honcho who's got authority to lord over people, but it's really my privilege and joy to serve all the leaders and help them succeed in their ministry. One of the ways we do that as a family in Grace Life is we've got our ministry school, which is something that I invest a lot of time and effort into to be able to help, and we make it available to everyone as much as we can so that everyone can grow in their relationship with God, grow as a disciple, and grow in their being an ambassador for Christ. Okay? So the last thing I want to say with this is if you're kind of maybe not connected to a church, not connected to a bigger vision, not connected to anything, and you want to be connected to us, even if you're not in one of our regions or one of our areas where we have a campus, we can still connect with you, and we still want to serve you, to help you to succeed in starting a group, making disciples, and multiplying those groups to reach more people. Okay, you would need to contact us at our central office. If you're doing this course, you should have our contact details. Otherwise, look us up on our website, gracelife.co. Contact us, say, hey, I want to start a group in such and such an area, and we will work with you. We will get you into a leadership group where you will connect with others, you will relate to others, we will invest into you, we will love you, we will help you, we will fellowship with you, and we will support you in starting your discipleship process in reaching out and ministering to people. So I want to invite you and encourage you that if you're not a part of another vision, if you're not a part of another church, and even if you're wanting to pioneer into a new area, we want to work with you to help you pioneer into an area where maybe there isn't a work there currently. Part of our vision and our mission is not just to plant churches in areas where we have people that live, but is to mobilize and equip and empower and support disciples to go into unreached nations, unreached people groups, and unreached areas with the gospel to make disciples. And that's something we'll talk about in another session.